there's a war going on, rate hikes in the works, and an executive order on crypto pending. Bitcoin's price, it's back against the wall. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Thank you for coming by. Hit that subscribe and like on the way in. It means a lot to me. Let's jump into this video. It's a Bitcoin video. We're going to look at price. We're going to look at price action, targets, all of that. We're going to look at the possibilities when it comes to these charts and Bitcoin price. But in this video, I want to zoom out on the situation. I want to have kind of a conversation with y'all. And if we zoom out and we look at what is going on, you all know I'm long-term bullish on crypto. But as events happen, as things begin to pile on, when it comes to global events, we have to take it into massive consideration in terms of, well, what's next for Bitcoin price? You know, the charts are definitely helpful as a guide, even through this mess that the world is in right now, and that Bitcoin price is in. But let's zoom out and let's talk about it and work our way into the charts and work our way into what could potentially be next. This is first. So this is just a quick article on Washington Post. Negotiations resume as civilian toll climbs. And I use this particular article just to illustrate war is happening in this world, right? But even more so, I use this particular article because look, negotiations resume as civilian toll climbs. I tweeted like it's actually way more tough, not only because Bitcoin price is down, it's way more tough just to get excited about posting crypto content right now. And I think it's important to do so, to continue to do so, to track markets. But it's particularly tough right now. Everyone, there are people dying in this world right now in the war. And the thing is, and this is something that's pivotal for me as I'm doing crypto videos just over the years. We live in such a messed up world, and there are people dying every day, right? This war and everything that's just happening in the headlines all over the news in our faces is a reminder. It's a wake-up call that, to me, this world is fleeting. People are suffering every day. And so for me, I need to personally just like zoom out on the situation, which is life, and just examine it from that perspective as well. We're so entrenched in crypto and crypto prices and markets pumping. When's the bull market, bear market, blah, blah, blah. There's so much suffering in the world. And I want to keep that into context of all the videos that I do. So needless to say, prayers for everybody that's involved in this war, and prayers for everybody across the world that is struggling in just such dire circumstances as what we're seeing and being reminded of in this war. So that's one thing, right? That is affecting markets, global markets, not just Bitcoin. FedWatch. Powell promises rate hike in March, but takes measured approach. This is an article from 8 hours ago on investing.com. Rate hikes coming. Biden administration to issue executive order on crypto. These events, they're piling on. And we're no longer in this atmosphere where it's just calm, right? It's just calm seas, and we're tracking Bitcoin price alone. Now we're in this environment where there are multiple storms brewing, and one very big storm. This war, from a volatility standpoint, probably the largest impact right now amongst these three headlines: rate hikes, crypto executive order, and war. And it's illustrated on the volatility S&P 500 index chart. You can just see fear rising, and it hasn't topped out yet. The war very likely could get worse from this point forward, and how that affects traditional markets and crypto is very much up in the air. But if things do get worse, it's not a good case for a bullish move for markets, financial markets, traditional markets, crypto. So we have to just take a few minutes and just take all of that into context as we begin this video and we look at charts. And now let's pivot to charts. Let's pivot to the technicals and to the data, and let's just try and bring it all together. And I have this tweet from Kevin Svensson. He's been kind of just, I like his take. He's had some good content that I've used, and I think my last video even, because he's offering data from both sides, especially the bearish side in this tweet. The MVRV Z-score shows that Bitcoin is not even close to a total reset of the market. And that's markets cap, realized cap. The realized cap in the orange line is always broken in previous bear market lows. This is another strong bearish argument I'm looking at. So you can just see this is just a very nice illustrative view of previous cycles, Bitcoin bottoming out. And right here, I don't know if you can see, this is the December 2018 bear market low. You can see bottoming out there. And you can see this chart right here, not bottomed out. And he has kind of this question mark here, as it was in 2018, the end of 2018. Also back here in the 2015 bear market low. So the purpose of showing this chart is to say, from a data perspective, and this data alone, there's bullish data, right? There's on-chain metrics data that could suggest bullish data as well. But from this metric alone, there's room to the downside. Of course, there's room for a capitulation event. And notice, even back here, this wasn't a bear market low. This was COVID, the COVID swing low, capitulating into that green bottoming channel. That case is very much here and in play for Bitcoin right now. And especially when we look at these headlines, war, rate hikes, the executive order. And I want to say at the same time, there could be, the clouds could just start, the war could end quicker than most of us are maybe thinking it will. Right? The executive order might not be as bad as we think it will be. Rate hike situation might not be as bad as the littlest shed of light, right, through the clouds could turn things around very quickly. And we have to keep an eye on that and be ready for that. But it's most wise just to be ready for this is a dark storm that crypto is in, that Bitcoin price is in right now, in the middle of all the things happening, and you want to be prepared for downside. So let's look at now that data onto the charts, and here's where we have the case for Bitcoin to the downside. And we can do a case for Bitcoin to the upside as well, but I like to use caution. That's what we do anyway. Even in a bull market, we use caution for dips, huge dips, 30% dips, 40% dips. And here we are in a world of a lot of uncertainty and fear. We're using caution, and this is what it looks like. This is Bitcoin on the weekly chart. What I want to point out, we're in this range. Pairing up with that on-chain metrics we just looked at, we're below this 45 range on Bitcoin. That is a range where Bitcoin capitulated in the COVID swing low. That is a range where Bitcoin capitulated and fell in the bear market low. And it's a range where Bitcoin fell below and capitulated in the bear market low of 2014 into 15. We're in that range from a momentum perspective, meaning there's room to the downside. This 30 to 35 range, Bitcoin can very much fall to. What does that look like in terms of price? Well, there's technical pattern in play for Bitcoin right now that we've talked about. And there's also on the weekly chart an area, which is the 200-week moving average we've been talking about in the general vicinity of $20,000. The case is there for Bitcoin to revisit as it did in COVID swing low, as it did in the bear market low of 2018 and 2015. That case is there on the daily chart. Here's the pattern. It's a head and shoulders. There's the neckline. Here's the head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, very small right shoulder, but it's a right shoulder nonetheless. The bull's failing to the upside before revisiting the lower trend line, the neckline, and then falling to the downside. Target to the downside is right around just above $20,000. That coincides with the confluent area of the 200-week moving average at $20,000. So the case all across the board is up in the air and ready for Bitcoin to visit. We just want to be prepared for it. I want to be prepared for that. And if we zoom out on the charts, on the Bitcoin charts, it would not even make this chart flinch in terms of, oh, wow, Bitcoin's off course. It would very much play into the long-term synergistic growth, harmonious growth of this chart to the upside, this long-term uptrend. A move to this area wouldn't even make this chart flinch. It would be a bearish move for sure, but it's one we should be ready for. In terms of this area, this target of the head and shoulders, I just want to say this. If you look at the neckline break, it broke to the downside and it revisited the neckline, which is also on par with the technical analysis data we have from Bolkowski on the patternsite.com. Pullback rate in terms of his trade, 2,800 trades, this data is based off of, a 68% pullback rate. A pullback is basically when, you can see here he has the break through the downside and then a pullback to the neckline area. So if we're looking at that, here's what it looks like. A break to the downside and a pullback to the neckline area. Not once, but twice, with a second resistance there. So right now, Bitcoin is in an upward trend of higher lows from this previous swing low. That's kind of a new channel we should just track. But there's a huge case that Bitcoin makes its way continuing to the downside based off of the resistance here at the neckline. And that's what we want to look for. If we do get that pullback, which obviously we see happens often, according to this data, 68% of the time, we want to see a bullish break to the upside, not bearish resistance at the neckline, which is what it saw twice, right? So the case is there for downside. All I'm saying is let's take it all into perspective. But on top of that, let's take life into perspective. There's a lot of people still arguing on Twitter about what crypto is better, and just so much hate in the crypto space, and it's just so useless. And as a content creator, I want to keep creating content, but it gets a little tiring, especially in these environments where there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. The markets are down. People tend to get very nasty, and it's so unnecessary when we should zoom out on the situation and be grateful that, we have home, a roof over our head. And right now, I'm not so worried that a missile's going to come out of nowhere while I'm sleeping. And there are people in the world that are worried about that right now. And we need to remember that, pray for them. So those are my thoughts on Bitcoin right now. This is not a Bitcoin chart, but here's Bitcoin, 38,735. Let's track. Let's see what it does. This is what I'm watching. This is what I'm ready for. This is what I'm preparing for. Hoping for the best, certainly. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you all in the next video. God bless.